Our story begins after the Duel of the Fates and Qui-Gon's death by Darth Maul. Obi-Wan returns to Coruscant to report his encounter with the Sith. As Obi-Wan wrapped up his report of his run-in with the Sith, he began to bow and was about to walk away when Yoda stopped him.
Skywalker, trained he must be.
Obi-Wan nodded in agreement and said that he will train Anakin.
A knight you just became. Inexperienced you are.
Yoda stated. Windu looked on, observing the conversation. If it were up to him, the boy would never be trained. He was far too emotional and attached, but if somebody had to train him, it might as well be him. I will train him, Windu declared. Obi-Wan swiftly felt a touch of anger at the Council's lack of confidence in him, but he let it go just as quickly. Yoda, after thinking about it for a few seconds, nodded his head in agreement to Windu's proposal. Windu began training Anakin right away, attempting to instill a certain discipline in him. Though initially stubborn, Anakin was eager to learn and to outpace his fellow Padawan learners. The Jedi training ground was beaming with dozens of training droids, whizzing and firing shots at the younglings. While the other younglings used the easier modes, Anakin was determined to beat the hardest level. He powered up the training droid and it began firing round after round at him. He flawlessly deflected every shot, laser focused on his movements and the Force guiding him. As he was nearly finished with the training program, a young Zabrak youngling approached him. Without warning, the other youngling put his leg out as Anakin was taking a step forward. Anakin winced at the light shock the training droid shocked him with. The Zabrak, along with the other younglings, began to laugh at Anakin's blunder. But Anakin quickly grabbed his saber and lunged at the Zabrak. He was caught in complete surprise. He got into a basic form of one stance with his saber, but his resistance was futile. Anakin launched a swift kick into the Zabrak's torso, causing him to lose balance and fall into the temple floors. Just as Anakin was about to strike the Zabrak, he felt a hand grasping his shoulders. His master, Windu. Anakin, you must learn to control your emotions. Use them to your benefit. I was once like you, but I learned that anger must be harnessed to do good deeds. It's time for you to learn it, Windu said before looking at Anakin disappointingly. Windu was an expert at harnessing his emotions and using it to his advantage without falling to the dark side. He would teach Anakin these very techniques. Anakin grew into his early teens, and Windu began to teach him the lightsaber form Vapad, which was unique to Windu. Though with Anakin growing stronger and stronger by the day, using unconventional methods, the Council began to have some concerns about Windu and Anakin. In this timeline, Anakin does not fall in love with Padme, as Windu's training helps him manage his emotions. The Jedi Council convened in the chamber as Chancellor Palpatine's hologram appeared to them. There are some masters missing, however, most notably Master Windu. They talked about the growing threat of the Trade Federation and civil war. While the matters they discussed were important, the meeting itself wasn't unusual. But just as they were about to dismiss the meeting, Palpatine had one last remark to say.
One more thing, Master Jedi. I have some concerns regarding Master Windu and Padawan Skywalker. As you know, I have grown to know Skywalker, and I worry Master Windu's teachings are making him aggressive and impulsive.
The Jedi Masters all looked around each other with concerned looks.
Careful we will be, Chancellor. Notice these things we do. Windu's Vapad form dangerously close to the dark side. It is.
The meeting ended, and the Council began to grow more suspicious of the techniques employed by Master Windu and his apprentice. So much so that Ki-Adi-Mundi was named Master of the Order instead of Mace Windu. The Clone Wars begins, and Anakin gets promoted to Jedi Knight shortly afterwards. Dooku still leads the Separatist armies along with General Grievous. Anakin stood on the command center of his Venator command ship. The sound of blasters is heard through the comms as the clone captain asks for more support before being suddenly silenced.
Company. We got a large amount of droids moving on our positions.
Anakin clenched his fist. The Republic and the Jedi Council had both refused to send reinforcements to Ryloth, and the result of it is a complete and inevitable devastation of Ryloth. Contact them again, he told the bridge commander. In less than a minute, the council has made its decision. They not only will refuse to send reinforcements once again, but he will be ordered to retreat and leave behind any clones and Twi'leks left on Ryloth. Millions of beings will suffer and die because of the council's hesitance, Anakin thought. Without a delay, he commanded the crew to ignore orders and begin to launch fighters to assist the clones on the planet. Though the bridge crew looked confused, they continued with their duties and followed through. The rescue was successful, but many fighters were shot down in the process, leading to hundreds of casualties. Despite saving the lives of many clones and Twi'leks, Anakin drew the ire of the Jedi Council for disobeying direct orders. He was told to report to Coruscant as soon as possible. Anakin landed on Coruscant and began to make his way to the Jedi Temple to receive whatever punishment they thought was fit. But as he neared the temple, he began to sense something. He sensed someone. No, not just one person, but a whole dozen. They were completely still and clearly had eyes on him. He continued to walk at a seemingly normal pace towards the temple doors, until he saw his master, Master Windu, and a couple of other Jedi Knights next to him. The Republic High Command has ordered your arrest for the events on Ryloth, and the Jedi Council has decided to comply. The two other Jedi with him ignited their sabers, but Windu kept his on his belt. But I won't comply, he said before igniting his own purple lightsaber and slashing into the other two Jedi's sabers. They looked at Windu with great confusion. Windu looked straight back at them. You are going to let us go free, he commanded.